Imagine a world-class relay runner who executes a flawless lap around the track, but never lets go to pass it to their teammate. No matter how fast that individual is, they guarantee the team will lose. In many classrooms, teachers run this exact race, carrying the entire burden of scripture study without ever handing off the lead. This gap is hidden by how well students perform in the classroom. Walk into a third-grade room and you will hear kids who can recite memory verses in perfect unison, rarely missing a syllable. But the picture changes when the bell rings. On a Tuesday afternoon, with no grade attached and no one watching, few of those same students will pick up a Bible on their own. This reveals that reciting scripture and seeking scripture are two entirely different skills. While schools are excellent at teaching the performance of memory, the habit of independent seeking is often where well-intentioned instruction stalls out. When the Bible is treated like long division, it becomes something that happens only during a fixed block of time managed by an adult. This diagram shows why that structure is limited. A student who only opens scripture when an adult tells them to has learned a schedule, not a hunger. Schedules rarely survive graduation. Curiosity does. To bridge this gap, the target of Bible instruction needs to shift. The goal is no longer just increasing the volume of verses a student can recite, but establishing a lifelong habit of seeking. Teachers have a short window in August to lock in these rhythms. By October, the pressure of pacing guides and assessments usually crowds out any habit that isn't already running. Habit 1 is the 2-minute open and read. This happens at the start of any class period, whether it's history, science, or math. The teacher opens a physical book, not a slide on a screen, reads 2 verses aloud, and hands the book to a student to read the next line. There is no commentary and no quiz. Students learn what matters by watching what adults do, without being told it's important. When a teacher opens a Bible the same way she opens her laptop, scripture becomes a normal, low-stakes part of a Tuesday morning. Habit 2 is the single verse write and pray, which takes place during the final 2 minutes of the period. Think of this like a blacksmith working iron. No single strike shapes the metal. It's the same strike, repeated daily, that slowly bends the iron into its new form. In those final 2 minutes, students write 1 verse from the day's reading in a small notebook and turn it into a 1-sentence prayer. Over a semester, they accumulate a tangible artifact of verses they chose to sit with, written in their own voice. Ownership is built through repetition. A student can predict, not through an annual event they attend. Habit 3 is the weekly student-chosen passage share. This is the moment the teacher hands over the wheel. This is the moment the teacher holds the baton out and finally lets go. Once a week, on a rotation, one student brings a passage they found on their own time and explains in under 2 minutes why it stuck with them. At first, students will pick safe or obvious verses, but around week 6 or 8, the habit takes root. A student will bring in a strange, difficult, or deeply personal passage that nobody assigned them. When students start bringing things they found because they wanted to, you know they have learned the skill of standing on their own. These 3 habits are small enough to run quietly in the background for years, but they are not the point. The point is the difference between a performance and a practice. Recitation is a performance for an audience, which lasts only as long as they're watching. Discipleship is a private practice, like brushing your teeth, something you do because of who you have become. A successful handoff results in a Bible with a cracked spine, dog-eared pages, and handwriting in the margins. This is a book a student has made their own, one small daily strike at a time. The real victory is the student who, handed a Bible with no instructions and no audience, opens it, because that is what they do now. They have taken the baton and they are still running.